么接下来呢，我们将继续进行的是今天下午的多人对谈的环节。首先和大家共同分享的主题是我们的新叙事时代。And now let's move on to the panel discussion, storytelling of our time. 首先将有请到我们的主持人孙威，中国区首席战略官，来自 Singularity Studio。And firstly, I'd like to invite moderator Sun Wei, CSO of Singularity Studio， 以及刚刚和我们进行过分享的 Rao Babi， 还有我们的陈宇恒，以及 Timmy Ritman， 以及周旭东。And now let's invite our guests. Director of Live Exchange, Rao Babi, and co-founder of RCT Studios, Chen Yuheng, and founder of Booster Space, Tim Ritman, and co-founder of Sandbox Studios, Ethan Cho. And now let's give them a big welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here at the Sandbox Immersive Festival. And first of all, why don't we go around and introduce ourselves to the audience so people know what we're working on and why we're here. I'll go first. Hi everyone, I'm Wei San. I'm the CSO of Singularity Studio, which is a decentralized AI provider. I'm also the China founder of Humanity Plus. Humanity Plus is a non-profit organization which advocates the ethical use of emerging technologies.
大家好，我们是来自Sandbox Studio， 然后我是工作室的原创人。然后我们这个工作室从刚开始的时候，就是大概是2016年开始，我们最先研究的是VR 的这种实时渲染的动画，然后那个时候做出了一个作品叫 Free Will， 然后紧接着后面以后，我们就尝试着加了一些交互的内容，然后做了一个Fresh Out 的一个动画，也是2年都主攻在这个 VR 的实时渲染动画上。然后后面的话，我们就开始尝试用这种大空间的技术，包括这种多人动图，然后这些技术去开发一些类似于沉浸式戏剧的这样的内容，包括我们这次展出的这块这个曼达拉的作品，然后以及那边另一个作品就是也是这次在那个 Immersive 上展示的就是集，它是基于很多这个身体的这种交互与环境内的这个声音以及这个特效产生一些交互互动的一个作品。
Hello everybody, my name is Tim Ritman. Sweet. I'm the program director for 2 conferences about virtual reality in Berlin, Germany. The one is called VR Now, the other one is called Media Tech HubCon. So we supply the Berlinale Film Festival on the European film market with a very interesting annual summit, which always is about how to use virtual reality for film and TV production. And I'm also the program director for 2 video game conferences called Gamescom Congress in Cologne and Games Week Berlin in Berlin.
Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Chen and I'm from RCT Studio. We are a studio from LA and just graduated from Y Combinator this March. And we are using AI technology to enable new type of interactive experience, entertainment experience in VR. And basically we created an engine called Morpheus engine. And this engine using machine learning algorithm it's something like the mechanism is something like the virtual version of the Westworld. We programmed every characters in the movie scene, and the characters will learn how to react logically to the user input, and the audiences will like input and interact with the characters using natural language and their body behaviors. And it's the front end product has no user interface or any like options for audiences. The audience just need to act as the character, and this is the front end product we deliver to the audience. And the engine behind it, using AI technology, we think it's a great change to the storytelling, to the narrative. Yeah, so this is what we're doing right now.
Hi everyone, my name is Raoul Barret. I'm a director of video games and animation films. I've made, co-created and co-written and directed a game called Life is Strange and Life is Strange 2. It's episodic narrative games based on the choices of the player, so the story will be unfold and will change depending on the choices. And so it's really narrative driven. And in parallel of those games, I've co-founded an animation studio based in Paris, Capsule Animation Studio, which creates pre-rendered films for game advertisement, video clip, etc. So I'm a director between animation and classic, I would say, games. And ADA invited me to talk about what is interactivity, the different games I've made.
Awesome. So all of you must watch like millions of VRs or play tons of games, right? Like I'm interested to know what kind of story make your heart sing or melt from a personal perspective.
诶，我觉得现在的这个很多故事吧，就是从体验的角度来说，我们觉得亲身比较重要，就是我们亲身可以经历一件事件的这个本身，而不是说只是像现在大部分的 VR 电影，我们就是我们看了一个过程，然后，但是我觉得比较重要一点可能是我们在这个过程本身，我参与进来这个事情，我做了一些什么事情，也许对这个环境以及这个事件的话引导的那个方向产生了一些变化。
That's a good answer. Anyone wants to join? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Some of my first VR experience was just be involved into a realistic, what seems realistic when you're in VR world. So you have all the characters and the story that take you into, and I think it's the most impressive experience I had with VR until now. It's really some stories, small stories, or when characters really make you feel you're in this world, you are diving in. The immersion is really incredible with VR, but when it's done with a lot of details that take you into account, I think it works very well for me.
Yeah, I want to quote one of the opinions that one of the speakers, Dina, she said yesterday on the panel. She said that VR or interactive entertainment is all about giving the control of narratives to the audiences. Because in VR, the screenwriters or the creators, they definitely have less control of the narratives. Because the audiences have more freedom. They can look around, they can walk around, they want to control, they want to interact. So it's all about giving the control of narratives. So I think this is the conflict between the new type of entertainment and the traditional entertainment or movies. Because traditional entertainment is all about control. Because the directors or the screenwriters, they want to control every details of the content. But in the new format, under the new format, we are not able to control everything. So it's all about giving the freedom to the audiences. So that's why we think that AI will make a huge impact on this.
I think I have to agree with that new medium like video games, for example, or virtual reality gives you a certain amount of choices as a user or as a player, and there's a lack of lack of control as the director. If you want to just tell a story, bring it across, it's hard. But I think it really depends on what kind of mood you're in, what kind of genre you're moving in. So sometimes I think it's really okay to follow a story that is like meant by a narrator in a video game, and you can just like watch it as something like an interactive film, for example. And sometimes you want total freedom, and with VR it's kind of the same. So I think one of the most impressive experience I had with virtual reality was Dear Angelica. And Dear Angelica really made me cry. And after watching it, I mean, it's by Sascha Unzel, and it's a story about a girl mourning her deceased mother. And it's extremely passionate, and I think so many people I know cried. And I had to call my parents after that. It really affected me. And I was standing there for 15 minutes, and my tears started like just running down. After 5 minutes, I couldn't stop. And that was fine. So it really had such a big impact on me. So I think it really depends on, it just gives you the freedom to either give players freedom or not, and tell your story like in a very kind of straight way, or not.
That's a very good answer. So we were talking about the interactive storytelling. In terms of the VR technology, I think we're soon moving into not the storytelling, but co-creating these stories. Do you think that is a trend that's coming soon? For example, there's a personalized theater in Hollywood. They actually not only track your movements and your behaviors in the theater, but also your eye contact. You know, what kind of contents you pay more attention to. And then also like your kind of mental state of excitement. And the more you're focusing in one specific content, and then play more into that direction of the story. That's sort of like a very personalized storytelling or co-creating stories. Do you think that that's something that's coming soon to the mass market soon?
I think it's already kind of there. If you see mobile games, for example, and I think find it somewhere else as well, that your choices, your playing behavior, everything all the data you give can be translated into actions, and giving you like, okay, maybe we have to make it easier, maybe we have to like do something so person X, Y, Z spends more time in the game, or like gives more money in the game, and personalizing everything, customizing everything is already there. With reading out, I don't know, like eyes, for example, glances, checking out where you see like maybe even brainwave stuff like that. This is
how soon is the brainwave thing?
It's kind of working, I think. I think everything is also like has a downside. It can be very scary if you know that you've been watched all the time and that everything you see is like, I don't know, like contributing to a data pool, and you're totally transparent at a certain time. That can be used for good things and can be used for like bad things. So, but I think it's there and it's gonna be there. And if you see it from the perspective of co-creation, it will be used like that. But I haven't seen it like really being used in a meaningful way.
Yeah, I agree with Tim and his excellent answer. I think as a creator, sometimes you also want to tell a story, and you don't want the public to tell it. So you will create a story, some characters that are working, and you will give some interaction. And that's why I'm creating video games and not features sometimes, because I want interaction to be there, because I think a lot of things are much more powerful if it's because the player has brings the story here. But also I want to, I would say, respect my characters and let the player not do all that he wants. For example, if you have a full open world, you can do a lot of silly stuff, and maybe you can break also the story or your characters with that. So sometimes I think it's a balance between giving some freedom to the players, so he can really feel that this is his own story, but also I think you shouldn't give too much choices, because if you want the story to be strong, I think maybe you have to stick to some ways. But it's a balance to find these three not going
Sweet
too
spot.
much.
That right balance.
Yeah, I think because we're actually making new kind of interactive entertainment experience. So actually, we don't think we are going to revolutionize the traditional entertainment experience because they are always there. They're classic. They will be always there, and we are creating something new. And for that, I want to say a story from my friends in LA because we've talked with some production company in LA when we designed the product in the very first stage, and we found out that there is a trend that even though that the creators or content creators they tell stories, they found out that the story is dead. The story is there. The audiences, they watch 90 minutes movie and the story, if they watch again and again, the story is all the same. And they want to be different. They want to make the characters alive. That they found out that many of the fans of the IPs, they want to they want these IPs to come alive like Iron Man. They don't want him to die. So they found out that
Avengers 4, right?
Yes. So they want to they finish watching the 90 minutes movie and go home and they can have another way, another entertainment way to interact with the IP, with the characters. So this is like a new way to let the audiences kill their time and approach or getting close to their favorite IPs. Yeah.
So you're saying basically for Avengers fans, a game would be a great idea, to see Iron Man. So
many of them like Batman and Iron Man, they're all the same. Yeah.
就是对我们这两天在展示曼达拉这个作品的时候，其实也是在考虑这个说我们真人怎么和这个现场的这个观众互动，包括在互动的时候，观众们很多时候以现在大部分的游戏来说，我们可能做了几种的这种交互的反馈，然后我们比如说我跟你握手会做出一种怎么样几种反应，但是也许这些反应都比较固定，六随机，但观众来讲，他们有的时候很多时候可能会说我这个时候就想去做点什么事情，或者我就不想理这个演员，甚至我们在曼达拉这里面有真实演员的情况下，这个观众有的时候还会说是跟演员开个玩笑或者什么，这种反馈也许是特别重要的。然后包括这些技术都是通过大概现在我们用演员暂时的代替 AI， 但是我相信这种东西将来还是需要有这种深度学习的角色来跟观众产生。
Yeah, I want to watch the mandala. It's a great, great VR and it's interactive. And when you're saying in the future AI could replace the actors, are you saying virtually or like a robot, basically? Do you think a very intelligent robot can, replace the real actors in mandala, without any spoiler?
我觉得也许将来会有专门训练出来的这种演员机器人或演员 AI 来服务于这种沉浸式娱乐。
Okay. My next question is, what do you think 5 years from now, the VR market adoption? I mean, right now it's getting more and more recognitions and more players, with the different platforms, but there are some certain limitations. 5 years from now, do you think there will be a massive adoptions? At least a significant portion of the popular, public generated populations can play the VR. I know it's a difficult question.
I don't know. I cannot say. Maybe. I think we're not there yet, and we're just making baby steps. Probably not always in the right direction.
Not in the right direction?
Not always.
Not always.
I think in general, yes. We're crawling forward. Like little humans learn to learn to like walk, and sometimes mine needs, she learned to crawl, but learned to crawl backwards. And the first time got stuck under the sofa for the first 2 months of crawling, like, yeah, you know. And then she started walking. And I don't know in which phase we are right now, but I see there are so many progressions. And I don't know. I think if I would know, I would be able to make a lot of money.
Have you guys experienced the Oculus Quest? The new?
Yes.
Do you think it's a like a milestone in VR history? No. No. Okay.
我认为 Quest 确实可以改变不少现在的产品。
Yeah, we think that Oculus Quest is the experience is quite there, and it can match like most of the user requirements actually. So it's not perfect. Like one of the professors yesterday, he said that the VR hardware right now is still unstable. I totally agree with it because we thought that the VR hardware nowadays they're not unified because we have like the treadmill, we have the gloves, we have several
the suits.
Yeah, the suits.
Like the Ready Player One.
But there isn't one like unified. So I think this is the problem. This is the VR hardware is still unstable. But right now it's kind of like a very early stage of the smartphones, like the Quest. Like we can experience a very smooth experience on Quest, and that's enough for most of the like the audience.
Yes, problem.
Yeah, it's a very difficult question. I don't think we have the answer, but for sure, each month I say, okay, VR is dead and it's finished and it doesn't enough, but each time I see a new experience, I say, okay, we can thought about that, and on a design point of view and writing point of view, it breaks a lot of laws, and you have to experience. And so since 3 years, I already said, okay, no, I know VR, and I made another experience, like, okay, still a new stuff, so I got a lot of hope for this reason, and I would say the perfect experience is to give, for example, Oculus is a good example, the Quest to a new player, and you see the surprise for someone who has never played any VR content, and you really see it's just a matter of time and the people to be reached. I think it's the main problem. So it's the hardware, but also experience themselves. So yeah, as soon as we can reach a lot of people, I think it will grow very quick. But it's really hard to say, and yeah, it costs money. So we'll see.
It's a turning point. Turning point of the adoption.
Yeah, I think everyone will test. For the first time here, it's quite something, and I think we all see the potential. That's the point. Yeah, to have money to do it, to have people see the expenses.
So basically, the hardware is the main bottleneck for the VR content creation.
I think it's both, isn't it? Like it's not only the hardware; it's just like. The moment you have good hardware, you still need good content. The moment you don't have good content, maybe nobody is going to have a very good experience. And so probably outside of those who are very dedicated and believe in VR, because they spend billions of dollars in creating an ecosystem and hardware from the scratch, maybe the interest is just going down, and if people jump off the board, I think still VR will continue to grow, but maybe not that fast. I don't think that we're there. But I think it's also like a content problem. It's not a problem, it's a challenge. And I think we're kind of not that bad in creating good content and hardware that's kind of okay. Yeah.
Well, speaking of the technology, I know artificial intelligence will play an increasingly important role in the future of AR, or starting from now. So, Yuheng, do you have something to contribute to your view of artificial intelligence in this like VR creation and designs? Because I know your company is using the machine learning, using the reinforcement learning to do all sorts of stuff?
Yeah, because I suppose that most of us, because we're making like VR entertainment, so most of us have been watching the latest Black Mirror, the Bandersnatch. So it's also a big movie that we liked, but we thought it's still very traditional, although it's interactive. But so we are thinking that we're going to creating something new, and this definitely has to be AI driven, because the screenwriters, they cannot write so many possibilities of a story, because the Black Mirror, the screenwriters wrote every possibility, every storylines before shooting. So we use reinforcement learning like AlphaGo Zero, that there is no such data, or not too much data for the algorithms, and the screenwriters, they're more like a world creator or a world architect. They just design each characters like they're like the engineers in the Westworld, because it's the engineers in the Westworld, they program each robots. They give the robots like characteristic, their strengths, their intelligence, and the motivation of each robots, and put them into the sweet water. So it's very much like our algorithms. We put parameters and motivations for each characters, and they've been running in a large scale of simulation system, and the algorithms learn from the simulation. So right now we're like simulating with a very simple movie scene, a bank robbery scene, and we simulated like several million times. And finally, what we achieve right now is that the characters within the scene can react very logically, but the intelligence level is like higher than we expected. So we're trying to lower the intelligence level.
Like on purpose, trying to lower their intelligence level on purpose?
Yeah, because basically, real people or real scene. Not too many people can think so much possibilities, but if you're in the movie and every other characters, they are machine, and they can foresee like millions of possibilities in the future. They're all Doctor Strange, and it's the players, that they are very hard to enter or to get to the target. So this is what we found out from our result. Yeah. So each of like AI, each characters, they've been Doctor Strange.
In this example, your story will change, and so here we can affect the whole story, or it's more the character will live by themselves and do their own stuff during the stories.
It's like the players act as one of the characters inside the movie world, and they can say whatever they want to do, whatever they want with the controller, and the characters within the scene will react, and logically, like you say something to him, he will understand, and he will react. So each character, they have one like very clear goal in each scene. Like the player as a robber, he has to rob the bank, so he has to do whatever he needs to rob the bank. Although he's able to not rob the bank, but other characters will also react to his behavior, not rob the bank. So this is kind of a close environment that each characters will pull you into like certain trends. So this is what we achieve. Yeah.
So basically, let's say in the West world, each robot is assigned a certain character, and they're sort of sticking into a storyline. While in different rounds or iterations, holding a glass of wine might be different. The minor details might be different, but the storyline will be the same.
And actually, let me give everybody an example. Like if I say to a character some information, If this time I speak to him like in this distance, or next time in another distance, then the result will be different, and maybe it will affect the parameters, the status of the environment, and affect the later storyline. So the change will be incremental.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the incremental changes may turn into a completely different outcome in the story.
Yes.
So the story work is more creating the characters at the beginning, and some goals for each character are more creating a story, like a classic cinematographic story with the beginning and end. You will write the characters and let them
Yes.
live with the player.
You write the characters, you design the character and the scene, and the characters will learn. Yeah.
That's
Really interesting.
Yeah. Well, in future VR, I'm wondering if there's any possible ethical issues, right? I mean, Tim was mentioning something like the privacy, right? When you're playing different kind of games, or you have preference of different content, and then, you know, like maybe people are watching or knowing something with access to it. Do you think there are some other possible ethical issues in the future? So the VR, so we can sort of, you know, take a step ahead and then protect it, and then getting the VR industry to rise in an ethical way, so people wouldn't be concerned about, you know, all these kind of issues.
Me? Okay. Looks like I'm the guy who's raising concerns.
Well, I have concerns too.
Okay, no, yes, of course, yeah. It's a
Yeah.
new technology, and I think we have to, I don't know, find guidelines how to use it, because I think VR is going to become more social. And right now we can already play VR games or have VR experiences with other people. And the moment we have that online, we share spaces in social VR. We already had things happening there, like, I don't know, like digital sexual violence, for example. And how do we cope with other people and their virtual bodies? Something like that. And this is something Facebook is going to find out, as any other social platform is going to find out, Twitter, how to cope with harassment. And this is becoming a thing in VR, for sure.
Is there any, you know, action items to sort of delay that or prevent it in terms of, I don't know, blockchain or some other technology solutions?
I think that is something, I don't think it's something that technology can provide. But we have to find rule sets, and we have to kind of stick to them. Of course we won't, so we have to find ways to sanctionize if somebody is way out of line. So I think it's more like a media competence thing.
So basically, the policymakers needs to be very well informed, aware, and trying to, you know, catch up with this technology advancements and restrict.
Yes, I think yes. Policy, the policymakers, they have to make certain laws and have a certain law environment, and those who provide technology have to make sure that there is a technological way to ban somebody, to mark somebody, flag somebody if he's inappropriate, and also that we as human beings, I don't know, like that we find something like a solution, like a common ground, how to behave in the internet, in virtual environments, because until now we didn't.
Yeah, I think it's like the other media history. We always have a problem at the beginning when you've got a new media, and I would say the problem with this one is the strengths you have when you are inside a VR film. It could be violence, sex, or harassment, or gore, or stuff like that. So it could be really shocking. So I think we haven't seen yet the true potential, and so it could go very, it could become a problem. So I think like other media, we have to find the right balance. But like Tim says, first the creators and the distributors who have to work on that.
What's your take on that? You know, in terms of in China, everything's booming. All the industries are taking off, especially VR, AI. You know, in terms of the ethical issues, is there something that you know we can, as a community, or even to kind of advocate for the right?
我觉得现在这个问题可能在中国还太怎么样，对，不太怎么，所以现在大家在开发这种内容的时候，或者说选择一个什么样的题材以及大概会走一个什么样的趋势的时候，一般都有回避这个问题。然后并且的话，大家现在可能更多的时候是考虑说，哪些什么题材，或者说我用一些什么比较有意思的点去创造一个什么样的体验比较有趣的时候，然后我们尽可能的在这个内容上去寻找一个最适合，或者说单从体验角度可以让这个体验更丰富或者更加快的这个体验。然后可能太尖锐的那个暂时
明白。Okay. I was watching this A Space Odyssey the other day. It was filmed by in 1968. I think like maybe 50 years ago. Have you guys watched it? A Space Odyssey? It's a very great sci-fi movie. And many people will say, you know, it's very hard to predict what things are from now on, like 50 years from now, right? Our human beings tend to overestimate the short-term, you know, the short-term improvements, but underestimate the long-term improvement of the technology. But this film actually kind of like grasps what's happening right now. That the film was projecting a lot of this technology, such as, you know, lip reading, language recognition, the voice activation, the artificial intelligence. So I'm wondering, you know, for us here, what would you think, you know, 50 years from now, what the world will be that's, you know, probably heavily involved with VR? Take a step back. Just a wild guess.
50 years is like a too long period. It's really hard to predict, but eventually our vision is that if human cannot live to the Mars or other planets, then we eventually will have a very mature virtual world, and most of us will have another virtual life. So this is the trend we see. Only if we are not able to live on Mars or other planets, but that is still happening, right?
Okay. Okay. Why I have last question. It's I wanted to ask first, but Andy said it was premature, so I leave it to the last. This is a simulation theory or simulation hypothesis. Actually, we're creating all these vivid and realistic games or virtual realities or worlds in different dimensions or different worlds. And it was initially proposed by Nick Bostrom, who's also the founder of Humanity Plus, in 1998. I think he proposed this hypothesis that we are actually living in a simulation created by either higher civilization or our descendants. That we are actually given character-based scenarios and carry out all the storylines or plots. You know, I just want to know by show of hands how many of you believe, you know, we could be living in a simulation. Yes. Okay. Three out of five. Okay. All right. So that's the last question. Do we have some Q&A?
I'm curious about the team's opinion and why.
Yeah. Why don't you guys?
Why do you think we're not living in this?
Yeah. That's we're living.
Maybe because I was sent here to misinform you.
You are sent here to.
Maybe I am just a puppet. Oh, but I won't tell you. No, I don't believe. No, I don't believe it. I'm sorry, but I'm very non-esoteric, for example, and I think Nick Bostrom is probably right now the most intelligent person when it comes to speaking about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and what I like about him is that he's utterly realistic about the things AI will be able to do in the future, and that we don't have to be scared that we're too intelligent until a certain point. And I mean, the Matrix, for example, that's a nice analogy and works for the movie. And I think even Socrates came up with something like that back in the days. Is what we experience, is it real, is it not real? I will never be able to say, you know. But I don't think so. I just can't say, I don't believe so. This is my belief.
Very good. Raul, what about you?
Yes. Where is it?
Okay.
It would be Mr. Smith or something like that.
Great. Thanks, everyone. And
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
好的，再一次让我们用热烈的掌声感谢各位嘉宾们的精彩分享，谢谢你们 ，Thank you all，Thank you again。